Good morning. Let's see. Let's see. Good morning. I always want to say afternoon, and I know it's not the afternoon. It's not even 10 yet. So if you don't have the pattern, I think there are some patterns on sale. I seen an email from Simply Classic that came on my. I don't have the email in front of me though. Let's see. Hey everyone. All right. We'll be starting shortly. Let's see if I can see the email. Hold on. That's that screen. I always get the coolest Harbor Freight emails, but there's not a Harbor Freight near me. And then when I was in North Carolina at the Garden Room Sewing retreat we had, there was a Harbor Freight, and I so badly wanted to ask the director of this retreat if we were able to do a field trip there just for pure selfish reasons because I never actually been into a Harbor Freight. But like whenever I see people getting their Harbor Freight haul in the sewing community, I'm like, I'm jealous. Okay, so yeah, they have the biggest sale ever. So they're 40% off of their PDF patterns for 3 days. So even like the Willa, they have a Willa Travel Essential Bundle that is normally $40.96. It's on sale for $24.94. So all of their patterns, all of Chris's patterns are on sale for 40% off. So I don't know if you got that email. This is one of the reasons why I highly advocate for people to be a part of mailing list because let me see if I can just yeah, it's up to 40% off. Um let's see. Oh, that goes to the email. Hold on. Wrong. It went to my email. I advocate for people being part of like subscribe to people that you like mailing lists because you never know when they're gonna have sales. Hold on. This is such a weird angle to type at. Hold on. So 40% off. There we go. The bundle is a great deal because I like I said, I like the Shade Keeper, but there's like There's other things in that bundle. There's like a cord keeper. There's so many other things. So if you're like a person that makes a lot of bags for family and friends and give them as a gift, if you're a person that has an online presence, if you're a person that just sells like at your local, like I have a, a couple people in my Patreon that just sells at their church functions. If you're a person that sells like at holiday marts or at different locations, the core keeper and the shade things that actually just go into your purse to keep it organized. The bundle to me is like really smart because it has it has like a couple of different things. It has, okay, so you have the cord companion, the shade keeper, and the folding gold jewelry case, which I think is really cool because you can put all your jewelry in there and it will help make sure that your jewelry doesn't get tangled, like chains and everything, which will be also great for if you're trying to tell people, like if for travel and whatnot. All right. All right, we're getting closer. It is, I think it's a great set. So if you have your pattern near you, the first set of pattern has the cutting list. It goes over how you interface. It tells you that we're going to be sewing with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, unless it's telling you otherwise throughout the pattern that the top stitching is 1/8 of an inch and sometimes 1/4 of an inch. Um, and like I said, the cutting chart. It starts on the sewing the pattern starts on page 13, and we're going to start with the crossbody. So there's two different measurements for the crossbody. So we have the wider amount. It's cut slightly smaller, shorter. It's not as long as the shorter piece because we're going to be taking um, a 1/2 inch, the 1/2 inch that it's 1 inch longer. So like if it's cut, let's say hypothetically 4 inches um wide by 52, the top piece is cut like, let's say 3 inches wide by 53. So that way we could take this 1/2 inch piece and wrap it around the ends. And we're just taking a piece of double-sided tape real quick and doing this. I think this is cool. I've never done this before. I've never actually sewn this pattern, but when I read through, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It shows you how we wrap it around on figure 18. And we're going to top stitch this edge at 1/8 of an inch onto the shorter piece. Those are not the measurements. I was just giving you hypothetical ones. I'm using Tex 70 thread, and I'm using brown as a contrast stitch. I'm back stitching about 2 stitches. And because we're top stitching on the top part, 1/8 of an inch, my machine, I'm noticing that immediately that I'm around my, because we're top stitching at 1/8 of an inch, I'm almost touching 1/4 of an inch on my guide. If you laid this out kind of perfectly, sometimes I get it perfect, sometimes I don't. So just really focus on trying to just top stitch on this part. I like the colors that came in this bag a lot. I like this. I want to name it like a creamsicle because it's not quite orange or tan, and it's not quite a light brown. It has like all the colors. And then I'm going to back stitch because we're not going to actually go across it. we're just going to go down the other side. So we're not swooping across it. And it kind of shows you that if you look at figure 19. And if you want that extra reassurance, look at figure 21 on page 13. Which I kind of like, because sometimes I don't like going across it. I know that sounds weird. I feel like this is where you can see a lot of mistakes, or when someone can't pivot to that 90-degree angle and you get that weird skip stitch. And if you don't have strap-ins, it can sometimes have it doesn't look the best unless you edge paint it. So I think that this skill building technique, and it is a skill building technique, is another way to do your, like a crossbody strap or even handles that can elevate your bag to the next level. And I'm just back stitching twice and then stitching forward. It looks really nice. It has a nice clean finish, and I like it. Yeah, it's a very neutral. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a neutral gender set, but it's like it has like tan. It's so. If this was a foundation, it's really weird because it looks orange, but it has like tan and very. I don't know. It's very interesting, but I love the way this finish is. It looks so elegant, and I don't know. I haven't seen anyone really do their ends, strap ends like this, but I'm not gonna lie, I will keep this in my bag of tricks and maybe use this as a way of finishing my ends without using hardware, or especially when I don't have it. It looks really nice. I like the way it looks. It finishes it nicely, and it's a nice little twist. So we're gonna now need our connectors. And there wasn't any interfacing in here. So what I did is I took, Chris has adhesive nylon. I always have some scraps, and I just put some in the middle because I am a firm believer of having something in when it's vinyl, because vinyl stretches. So I just put a little scrap in there, and it won't make the straps any thicker or anything. It just will help. With the foundation. All right, so we're going to top stitch this 1/8 of an inch on its sides, and I'm just going to back stitch. I'm going to do the same thing, back stitch, bring this over, back stitch, back stitch, back stitch, and back stitch. All right, I'm just going to clip these together, and then we're just going to assemble the strap connector. And I need my hole puncher. Whenever I bought some new Crocs, And whenever I break them in, they sound so weird. Let's see. All right. So we're going to bring this in and over. And we're going to just fold it over. And I'm going to go get the rivet. Yes, Chris has adhesive nylon. I keep it by my sewing machine, and it's very thin, and it's one of my favorite things from her. A little bit goes a long way, and I like to buy it in neutral colors, but I use it probably not the way she uses it. If she's on here, she's probably gonna be like, "What do you mean you use it as interfacing?" She's like, or "That's genius, Shanova. I use it in between stabilizers all the time." It's my favorite thing to do, especially if a pattern doesn't use a stabilizer. It's my favorite thing to do. But also a lot of patterns now ask for like when you're doing sunglasses or whatever, adhesive ones, and she has adhesive nylon, and it's just one of my favorite products that she has. I ran out of my tan one, and then I started working on that. A little goes a long way, so that's like my favorite product. So I'm just going to really punch through that. I need to sharpen this. It's been a couple of weeks. All right, so I'm going to set this. I push down. I get my buckle guy press. It's like a push and a half maybe. So I have this, and then I'm going to keep everything nice and straight. I like two-tone because you can immediately tell if your strap is twisted. I'm going to feed one of my swivel hooks through here, go up and over, make sure nothing's twisted, and take this and feed it over. And punch it. You I could try to add a link, but if you just go type adhesive lining into the link, hold on one second. If you're in Simply Classic, you can just literally type adhesive lining and it'll pop up. And that's the link to it. And at the end of this, I will put all the links in the description box. And let me put this in. I don't know which. I just totally lifted up my die. So yeah, I'll put a pin in this comment for Simply Classic. So that way you can just go into there while I talk about it. But yeah, she has really beautiful hardware too. So there is our beautiful strap. We have that. All right. So now we're going to start with the exterior. Okay. The exterior is kind of interesting. When I cut out this, I was intrigued because in the pattern, she has you draw a T for the top of this. But if you see the T, the top of this is like straight in one quarter and it's curves in the other. So when you get the pattern piece, she tells you to cut them out in mirror images, which is weird because this is a massive pattern piece. So I was like, okay, and I was nervous, so your girl traced it. when when in doubt, trace it out, okay? So I traced it. I traced it out, and I also, when I go through a pattern, I like to read it from front to back. And I also know that this is a drop-in lining. And even though you can see that I drew my interfacing lining in pencil, I still drew where we're going to have to fold down to at the end of this, so that way I can make sure that I hit all the right lines when we're folding the bag down in place. Um, let's see. So what I like is that she wants you to put the T at the curve. What we're going to do right now is we're going to sew the 1/2 inch mark at the back seam. We're going to be working at the back of the bag. So let's see. I clip the back of the bag on, which is not the curve. So you're going to put right sides together. The curve where the T is, we're not going to work on that side. We're working at the back of the bag. The back of the bag is the straight. So just put the T like it said in the pattern, and just realize that the first part of the bag is we're working at the back, because the back of the bag has the zipper pocket, and that's the first part we're working on. Let's see. So a 1/2 inch, I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and the end. I like to back stitch 2 or 3 stitches. Okay. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the edge. Because we can't iron. So we're going to fold the seam. Because we're going to be top stitching 1/8 of an inch from the seam. I'm putting it on the edge so that way it doesn't get into our top stitching. All right. Of course, I'm using Wax double-sided tape. I love their double-sided tape. It does come up the needles sometimes, though. All right. And then we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch down both sides. And my back stitch. All right. All right. So we're going to be on page 14. We're going to be putting the zipper overlay on. I'm going to put some double-sided tape. Yeah, it's a really pretty shade of green. I think it's super, like, she picked a really beautiful color for the box. You got the green one too? I'm just going to find my center real quick and just mark it real quick. And then she gives a measurement on the pattern on page 15 that we need to go from the top. I'm gonna mark that measurement. This is a little different from the, so when you typically do a pouch, you go around it once, right? So it's going to have one stitch there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the measurement from the pattern and just go down about 3/8 of an inch. You're like, Shanova, what are you doing? You're going to see. Okay. Bear with me here. And I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to, within this seam right here, I'm going to do a bar tack. A bar tack is similar to what you do in garment making in the cuffs area. So that way, when you go open and close, that seam, that vertical seam now has like a horizontal seam, and it doesn't break. It doesn't unravel like a zipper stop. And I'll show you. Just let me do the other side, and you're going to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back to the seam, I'm going to put this here at the, and I'm going to make a mark here, and I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch down from that mark here. and do the same thing. I'm doing a slight modification. So you see that there is a, hey, what's up, Chris? There's a slight modification right here. And there, in Chris's pattern, she's going to go over and there is going to be a stitch. This is just an extra precaution, like an extra stitch. Again, remember, all of us come from a different sewing background. Some people come from quilting, some come from millinery, some come from hat making, shoe making. I come from garment making. So when I come from garment making, I'm used to doing like bar tacks and different stitching to ensure nothing comes unraveled. So whenever you see me do a weird stitch, it is because of how I was brought up. So I'm doing now I'm going to be doing the seam. I'm going to be putting together the overlay based off of the measurement that Chris gives on page 15, and it's in the very first paragraph, and it's on the second sentence. So I marked with a silver marking pen where the center is, and I'm going to put that exactly in the seam. And I'm just going to measure that it's there, the correct measurement. All right, so now we're going to go around here and we're going to do our stitch all the way around, and she pulls the threads to the back, so let's go for it. I like to pull the threads to the back from the bottom of the bag. I don't know why. Long tails. Let's go. Take your time. If you have to stop with your position, make sure it's needle down. I always feel that people that do quilts are like the best people to sew overlays. I don't know why. They know how to turn those corners, and it could be especially free motion quilters. They can just turn those corners like nobody's business. Oh, I wanted to put a badge here. Hold on. I can still do it. Okay. Bear with me. A little tag here. I wasn't teaching a class once, and I watched this lady just put together, just like do this effortlessly. She was just like like someone molding dough, and I was like, oh my god. And she's like, I was like, so where's your sewing background? She was like, oh yeah, I free motion quilt. And I was like, yeah, I can tell. I'm already almost to that stitch. Sometimes I like to pull my stitch from the back so I can just land it in the previous stitch. It's pulled. And there it is. So I'm going to pull this thread up. Yeah, a lot of practice with applique. Hey, Taylor. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate it. And then I'm going to have a little bit of a long tail. Just tape that. And then we're going to cut into this. I know it's nerve-wracking. I think it's nerve-wracking when we do this for no matter how we do it. But you already sewed into it. You're good to go. See how it like wants to split and unravel? And wait, you just put that bar tack and everything, you're good. And you have the reinforced stitch that you just did with making it, so you're good. You did everything right. And if you want to, you don't have to do 3/8 of an inch. You can do it right below, like 1/8 of an inch. Do what feels right to you. It's your bag. There's no wrong way to do it. All right. So we have this, and now we're going to mosey on over to page 16, and we're going to work on the zipper pocket. All right, so we need the pattern pieces and the beautiful zipper tape. I like this color zipper tape is really pretty that came with the pack too. I'm a sucker for a light zipper tape. And then we have the zipper pull. Taylor, I was telling them that all of Chris's patterns are on, well, a lot of Chris's patterns are on sale right now. All right. So we're going to clip this in place. Bye, Margie. And we're going to sew this with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Just gonna trim off the excess. Yeah, that is like phenomenal. Like that's a still. So there's like a pattern that you've been waiting for. That's a still. And then we're going to place this other one here. I hate when my zipper, my thing does this every now and again with certain threads. My needle just wants to like go whoop around it. And then I have to rethread the top part. I don't know. It's only with certain threads from like certain brands it does it. It doesn't do it with like superior threads or anything. And I'm like, are you trying to be bad and bougie, machine? That's not, let's not do that. All right. So we're going to open this up and we're going to top stitch this down. I like doing this, then it's not as much double-sided tape and your machine can be like, yay. Sometimes I wonder if our machines could talk to us. They'll be like, double-sided tape, really? Really, Linda? Really? All right. So I'm going to just... Okay, I know this sounds silly, but recently I've been doing this thing where I like to make a little bit of a mark on one side where the center is, because then I can center it on my pocket. Because I absolutely hate when I put it on the back side of it and then there is more like seam allowance on the left or the right because I can't eyeball it right. It happens to me more than I want to admit to. Okay. So if I put like a little pencil mark or something so I can have something to eyeball, then I'm okay. All right, Taylor, have a good day. I don't know if that happens to anybody else. It happens to me a lot. Like one side will have like 1/4 of an inch and the other side has like an inch of seam allowance. I'm like, great. I mean, I could work with it, but so we're going to place this on here. And all right, so for this one, I am going to backstitch. I'm going to backstitch on the side zippers on both sides because I believe in having zipper stops. I treat a bag like how I treat bags, and I'm not gentle when I open and close a bag, especially because they don't have tabs to help you open and close the bag. So I start on one zipper side and I backstitch over the teeth, and then I go around and backstitch on the other teeth and go back around and in. It's just something that I do. I think my clients like it too. All right. All right. All right, so we're going to close off this pocket. You prefer it to be even too? I'm glad it's not just me, because like sometimes I feel like I feel like all of us have like something that we would like to drastically change in sewing, and that is my Achilles. That's one of the main. I have a lot, but that's the one that I people may not be able to see it, but it's something that bothers me. All right, so we have that. Now we're going to be doing the hidden connectors. Oh, no, we're going to be doing the upper and lower closures. I apologize. The upper closures. And the lower closure. So on both of the long edges, we need to put 1/8. Okay. 1/8 double-sided tape. I think the closure parts are super cool. Yeah. I think it's perfectly fine to be quirky. I think the world needs more quirky. All right, so we're going to fold both long pieces into a third. So we're not doing it into fourths, we're folding it into a third. And then we're going to top stitch them. So it may be easier to see on this longer piece. I'm eyeballing the heck out of this. And you're folding the other long edge right on top of it. All right. And then we're gonna top stitch down the center. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. I'm gonna say after we're done top stitching this that we need to wipe down our needle. Like desperately. Good morning. Like desperately because we've been sewing through some double-sided tape. All right, so we have our lower closure is a smaller piece and our bigger closures at the top. And let's get a wipe. And some sewing machine oil just to give it some jazz. Okay, so we're going to then grab our top piece, our back piece again, and we are going to do some measurements. It looks like the way we're going to measure our, okay, this is interesting. Okay, so the way we're going to do our, okay, our marking points for our that's it. Okay, I'm like reading this twice and 3 times. So okay. All right, so please measure and mark 1 point up from the top edge of your zipper overlay. Align with your zipper pocket opening. Oh. So this one up and one over. Okay. From the opening, this part where that has the opening, you're going to align it and you're going to do 1 inch up. Okay, so from the zipper opening, from the cutout, you're going to align it, but you're going to go 1 inch up from the zipper overlay. All right. Yeah. Let me make sure this is, holy snaps. Yeah. That is flipping cool. Oh my god. You guys, let me break it down again. All right. So this is your zipper overlay. This is your outer of the zipper overlay, and this is the inner. Do not pay attention to the stitching. What you're paying attention to is the cut out of your zipper overlay. Where's paper scissors? Where are my paper scissors? It's hard to tell with all the color. Hold on. I've never seen anyone do this before, so I want to execute it so that if you're getting this pattern at home, that you know what I'm talking about. Hold on. Sorry, I don't want to make this an extremely long video, but I want you to be able to know what I'm talking about, and you're not like, I got it until this point. I've never done this before in a pattern, so now that I understand, I want to make sure that someone can understand along with me. We're going to use this back of this as a reference. All right. This is your pattern, okay? This is your pattern. Congratulations, Julie. This is your pattern. So see this opening right here where the zipper is? This is where you're going to be measuring. The 2 points of measurements that you need to pay attention to is this opening and the top of this. What the designer is asking you, what Chris is asking you to do, is to line up this part. You're going to need to go 1 inch above here, above the top of the overlay, but lining up on this part right here, the opening. So you're going to measure 1 inch above this, but lining up this. Once you have that mark, which is right here, you're going to measure out 1 inch out. Do you see how easy that is? So you're lining everything up. You're lining in here. It looks harder because you have your zipper here and everything, but she honestly, it would be easier to mark these before you put your zipper in. So, because you won't be, if your mind won't be cluttered. I would actually make this a step before, like you sew your zipper pocket in, you sew your zipper overlay in, and then you do this beforehand, but that's just me. You're going to line up your ruler with the inside of this part right here, and you're going to measure 1 inch above this top part, which I have it so it's aligned with the inside of the zipper pocket, and you're going to measure 1 inch out. Then you're going to do it again. You're going to line up your ruler with the inside of this zipper thing, and you're going to make it 1 inch above, and then you're going to go 1 inch out. And this is going to be where your hidden connectors are. So freaking cool. So freaking cool. And now we're going to open them. X-Acto knife. right? All right. Let's see. Then we're going to grab our connectors that we just top stitched. And we're going to we want these to extend. We want the connectors to face on the top. Pull the connect until the on the one. All right. So you want the part that has the where we tape the long side. All right. And then we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch at the very top, right here, right above the slit. No problem. I think because if I was new to it and I never done that, I would have been like, what? What do you mean? I get excited with new techniques. I'm a nerd like that. I have like a million scissors around me. This is what happens. I'll start finding scissors all around me and I'll use them. I'll start using them and I'm like, where are all my scissors? Oh, they're at one sewing station. All right. Let's not sew over a clip again. All right. Then we're going to grab our oh, these have some weight. These are beautiful. I need to order some of these. Look how pretty these are. I'm going to pull these through. This is where my hemostat comes in nicely. I like my hemostat from Jolie Lee because it has my name on it. It makes me feel important. He says that's so Nova. What up, Shannon? All right, so then we're going to top stitch these at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to back stitch. And then I'm going to do it again. It smells like my daughter's boyfriend. Oh, my daughter's boyfriend. So my father-in-law and my daughter's boyfriend have this cologne smell that I can smell upstairs, and I don't know if he's in the house because it smells like it's like it smells like Dior. My husband doesn't wear cologne. And you know what's funny is whenever they come over, my dog smells like their cologne for like ever. Like, because they always like love up on him. And Loki smells like Dior. I'll be like, "What? Are you a Dior puppy?" So I'm going to punch a hole in these and put rivets. This particular hole punch has been acting a little bit like a donkey recently. Let's see if you're gonna not act like a donkey. I don't even know what that is in here. I just got this bag from Emmeline Bags. It's like a like the hook and eye. Really? I noticed like if the vinyl's a little bit gummy, this one is not this hole punch is like not the business. But normally if I wasn't filming, I would just punch it out with my hand tools. Okay. I'm gonna set it. I'm pretty excited because we are going to be putting on the upper toggle right now. So we're going to thread this part. Where did the little toggle button go? This is like the key thing. Please don't disappear. Oh no. All right. So this is the wooden toggle. We're going to thread this through. Okay, so hemostats are going to still be coming out. I'm not going to lie, you need a little bit of hand strain for that. I know, I like that. I would do my hand punch thing, but it sucks on this table. I try to do it with Patreon and it vibrates the whole table. It's just not the best. So we have the handheld one. Ooh. Okay. So, all right. So we have to put the closure. We need to put the toggle there's a measurement that we need to do right above this. I'm actually really stoked about this because I think this is this is the first time I've ever really did a bag with this. So we're going to kind of base this in place. These pattern designers are like, guess what? We're going to be doing weird new stuff with bags. I'm like, I'm here for it. Do it. All right. So then we're going to get one of the triangle connectors. And again, if you wanted to like edge paint one of your triangle connectors, you can definitely do so. And it is suggested to put, you know, some DST on here. All right. We're going to put this in the center and we're going to cover the toggle area. And then we're going to top stitch all the way around. You can pull your threads to the back. I'm going to pull or try, hold on. Sometimes I can get it if I think about it ahead of time. You're like, what are you doing? This is the things I do when no one's around. Sometimes I can pull my threads ahead of time, and it just makes my life a whole lot easier because then it could just fall into the hole that it's supposed to. I like to make my life difficult at any given time. That's how I roll, okay? I got it. Yay! Okay. Hey, Nikki, what's going on? You get to see what Shinova does to make her life difficult. That's how I roll. I was sewing and I was like on a FaceTime call with someone and they were watching me just making my life super extra impossible, and they're like, why are you doing that? And I was like, because this is how I function, this is how I roll. And they were like, okay, calm down. All right, so we're going to take this next part and we're going to have some fun because we're going to do some repeating steps. We're going to first sew up this side. We're going to do some top stitching, and then we are going to put on the bottom toggle. First, I want to make sure this is as even as I can be, so I'm going to put a clip at the top and at the bottom. All right. So again, we have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, we're going to get some double-sided tape. Put it on the edge of the seam. Oh, well, you haven't heard much from your testers. That's amazing. I mean, you know, that's the best way. I think making things hard on yourself brings some kind of light to your life, like in sewing. I feel like no one wants to talk about it. Like if it comes across too easy, you get bored. You're like, yeah, I'm bored. Oh, so yesterday, I was like, oh, let me go ahead and I want to watch, a movie that my mom likes. Sometimes, like, I'm just in the mood. I was like, let me just watch a movie that my mom liked. So I was rewatching A Hand That Rocks the Cradle because they remade it. It's on Hulu. I haven't watched the new one, and my sister was like, it was okay. It doesn't beat the original. I'm like, everybody always says nothing beats the original, right? So I went and rewatched the old one, and I don't know how that is just rated R, right? Like, that movie is super disturbing. Like, it is beyond disturbing. There is. I was watching this and I was like, I kept calling my husband upstairs. I'm like, Kendall. I was like, I remember watching this vaguely because, like, my mom, when she would watch, there was only like one TV in the house and it was in the living room. So if my mom was watching something and I wanted to see what she was watching, I would just like go around the corner and just watch it without her not, she didn't know I was watching it. We're doing 1/8 of an inch down each side, right, of the seam. I will go around the corner and just be really, really quiet and watch it. And I guess I didn't pay attention. And I was like, what? And you know what's crazy? The movie is relevant. It deals with topics that don't really even get talked about to this day. Like with the doctor situation, like it is dealing with like relevant situations still. But I I was shook. I turned off the TV yesterday and I was like, this movie is really disturbing. Like, I had to go on a rabbit hole. I was like, is it a book? Should I listen to it on Audible when I go to the retreat? Like, I was, the hand that rocked the cradle, the hand that rocked the cradle. It has a lot of famous people in it, but like they're not. It's not like famous people that I can give you like their names off bat. It is they have beautiful, striking people too. Like they're the people in the movie are just like strikingly good looking. Like yeah, the hand that rocks the cradle. It is hold on. It is um it is like one of those weird it is one of those weird it's just one of those weird movies that you just need to watch. It is because they remade it. They just remade it. I guess they remade it for Halloween last year on Hulu. And my sister was like, "Oh, it's good. It's just not as good as the original." And I was like, "Oh, my mom used to love this movie. Let me rewatch it." And I was like, "Mom?" I was just like saying it in my head, and my husband came in and he was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I just watched The Hand That Rocked the Cradle," and he was like, "Yeah, man, that movie's messed up." I was like, just or crazy stuff because like I was been watching like binge watching shows on HBO, and like when you watch shows on HBO, like have you ever watched a show that was really good? So you ask Google, is there a show that's like it? And then Google starts giving you movies or shows that are like it, and then you're like, no, this show is nothing like this one, and why would you give it to me, Google? All right, so we're gonna have this loop thing, this lower loop, and this has to be from the bottom edge of this. We need to measure up. I'm gonna make a mark. Make sure it's at the bottom. So you're right here. These are facing up in the pockets this way. So just, it says from the bottom edge. Fold over the ends. Apply some double-sided tape. Well, I already did not do that. It looks like she's using a half inch. I need to get some half-inch double-sided tape. It was in the original. Yes. Is she the blonde? Her eyes, how I would not be able to work with her. She has the most striking eyes I've ever seen in my life. Let's see. Her eye color is the same eye color as my dad. Like my dad has these crystal blue eyes. Like all my friends, all my girlfriends always had a crush on my dad. It was disturbing. Faith had the eye color for the first 3 years of her life, and then they turned into a gray blue. So we're going to have the loop going up. I wanted to make sure because, like, watch me put it down, and then I'm like, well, guys, we ruined the whole entire bag. It sucks because of me. So we're going to put this facing up, and then we're going to base this in place. All right, so then we're going to get the other triangle. Okay, she has like she has the most mesmerizing. Her eyes look like she could be like a frost demon. They're the most like the most crazy blue eyes I've ever seen. And in that movie, I don't even know what kind of camera they were filming on. Her eyes are crazy blue. We're going to put some double-sided tape and we're going to do the triangle facing downwards. So it's going to go into this. You want the point to go into the seam like this. They're very hypnotizing. I know she was in other things in the 80s movies. I know I've seen her in other stuff, but I think there's certain movies that you play in that you can't escape. Like I was reading somewhere that Leonardo DiCaprio, when people ask him, like when they're starting off as an actor, he always tells them not to become a superhero like never don't do rom-coms and don't become a superhero. And like it was crazy because when I think about it, he's he's like little he's kind of right. It's kind of hard for people to see you outside of those roles once you get placed in them. Let's see. I still don't understand why he has never won an Oscar. I may not like him as like a person per se, because like his dating life is super creepy, but he's a phenomenal actor. Like he should have got something from What's Eating Gilbert's Grapes. If you're a '90s kid, you know you know. Okay. Is there a movie that you guys watch now that you may have seen when you were younger that you thought was like wildly okay, but now you watch it, you're like, no, this is super inappropriate. Like, it was okay for its time, but this didn't age well. All right. So we have that. All right. So we have this. We're going to get the bottom. And you're going to mark your centers. And we're going to mark our centers here too. We have, this is our center here. We need to mark our sides. Dirty Dancing. Somebody, I just seen a thing on it was either TikTok or Instagram saying that now looking at it as an adult, the parents were in the right. They were just trying to make their teenage daughter not go wild. Like I was like, yeah. You're like, the more I think about it, her parents were doing the right thing. So the more, yeah, I hate the ones that make you think like, yeah, the parents were 100% right when she became a parent. You're like, we're gonna clip and clip. I'm gonna clip all the straight edges first. Mine's is every time I watch Home Alone, I realize that Kevin's parents were not in wrong. That Kevin was kind of a brat, and they had a lot of people at their house and a lot of things that they were trying to get done before they traveled, and he 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 was kind of a butthead. It was He was very defiant. Where they went wrong is they didn't like make him like take 10 or like anything. Like he was kind of wiling out a little bit. So like I'm gonna snip into the curve area. We have like a half-inch seam allowance, so you can go up to like 1/4 of an inch or even 3/8. Like his even his brother was in the wrong. Like there's something they they needed therapy. There's also the cops in that area failed tremendously. Like, what do you mean that nobody like a welfare check? He's like, it would have been different if he was like 13, then he could have really been on his own, or 12, but he was like 8. Like, so the that whole like environment for it to be like a really nice sedity area, um like it clearly was a multi-million dollar home back even in the early 90s. Like I don't understand how like nothing got done. Like I understand it's the holidays, but I how did the cops fail? The only hero in this that whole scenario is the mom. Like I even feel like the dad fell. Like the mom was like did what like a mom really would do. Like you would like fly, die, do anything to get to your kid. So also the burglars would have died a lot of like so many different ways. How like Kevin was like lighting them up. Like, and after the first scenario, Lost in New York is my favorite Home Alone. I would have had him in one of those kid leash things. I'm not big on the kid leashes just because it just reminds me of like the puppies, but for him, I would make an exception. I would He would be at the airport with a kid leash. Kevin needed discipline. Like I don't understand how did this happen a second time? Like it's just, at this point, I CPA like Child Protective Services needed to be involved. Like what do you mean he's lost in New York? How is he walking around Central Park, like one of the notoriously dangerous parks in all of America, by himself? How is it? Mm. just just craziness. And as a kid, you know, it was crazy because I remember I wanted the um I don't know if you're anyone that's my age and you know, as a kid or as a kid, they like at Christmas time they sold the Walkman that he had to fool the office to change your voice. And my mom was like, "No, I'm not giving you any ideas to do this." She's like, "Why do you want it?" I was like, "I think it'll be cool to change my voice." And she was like, "Yeah, that's why you're not getting it." So, and you know what's funny is a few years later comes out the movie Scream, and what does the main villain do? He changes his voice, and she was like, "I stand by what I said." No, it's like, and I know it was funny because no one knew. I wonder if they took that from that, to be honest. I wanted that one so bad. I'm using a hemostat like around the curves to make sure that all my like clipped areas are like raw edge to raw edge meeting up. It takes a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it. I mean, a timeout or something could have made him just like take 10, go in the corner. And like the other thing that I didn't like about Home Alone is like the rest of the family members seemed like they were perfectly fine that an 8-year-old was in Home Alone. Like they were relieved. Like that is weird. That's that's weird. Yeah, latchkey kids were very, yeah. It was a thing. Like, but I don't know. Like if you watching the beginning of Home Alone, it's very like surreal because the way he talks to his parents. Like if I talked to my mom and dad like that, there would have been no Christmas for me, and they wouldn't have gave me Christmas later. It would have been a lesson. There would have been like no Christmas. Like Santa Claus wouldn't be coming to town for Shinova. Like it'd be like, yeah, no. So I'm gonna trim this. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I'm so sad. You. Oh, when she died, I cried. I cried so hard. Like she was a talent. Um, she was a talent. I was actually worried about Macaulay Culkin because John Candy and Catherine really were people that he's openly talked about treated him really well, and I know that he's he's been through a lot mentally, and so I was just hoping that he's doing okay. And I was hoping pretty much anyone that, been a part of her life, is, outside of, us watching and being fans, are doing okay. Because us fans are still shook. Yeah, Julie, you got to do what you got to do, because there were 2 and 3. But I would have harnessed him at, because like in the second one he was 10. I would have harnessed him. I would have been like, "You're going, no, no." So this is a drop in. So I think doing when you're doing a drop in, I think it's super easier to do your double sided tape when everything's wrong sides out. It just when everything's right sides out, I don't know. It just seems so much more difficult. And I know, like, I love watching Home Alone. I watch it every year. It's not a Christmas if I don't watch it. It's because it's, the nostalgic purposes. Um, but I know, and I know, like when they do the making of Home Alone, they were trying to do it where it had like the nostalgia of the Christmas Story, kind of. But man, when I watch it, sometimes I'm just like, whoo. At least the kids from the Christmas Story were not. I mean, they did interesting things, but I felt like they did things that like a normal kid does. A normal kid does bad stuff, but like he just was like balls to the walls bad, like from like the very opening scene. I 100% was on board with him not like sharing a bed with the kid that pees. Nobody wants that. So, but there's better ways to going about it. Like, Mom, Dad, can I talk to you separately? Can I? Let's see. Let's turn this right sides out. I also like to watch Sound of Music at Christmas time. I don't know why. That's like my favorite time of the year to watch it. I have to watch A Wonderful Life, even though it is not a wonderful life. Um, he goes through a lot. But I guess that's the whole point of it, is that you can go through a lot and it's still a beautiful thing. Oh, I didn't even put my tag. I'm just rolling out my seams. It's much easier to do this without the lining in it. I love the Sound of Music too. All right, so let's see. This, oh, that folds over so neatly because of how she does the interfacing. Love that. And the bottom of this bag is beautiful. Woo. All right. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't have the backing. Okay. Let's get this lining done. And then we'll be done with this bag. This is so pretty. All right. All right, so we're on page 24. We're at the home front right here. We're going to take our lining pieces And we're going to fold them right sides touching. And we're going to stitch them up on the sides with using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I like the bag too. Thank you, Arnetta. 1/4 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and at the end. All right. We're going to turn these right sides out. I used Chris's interfacing. Okay. Okay, we're going to top stitch it real quick to base it in place. Yeah, definitely make it. All right, we need the slip pocket accent. I'm going to place this on top. And we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and end. And I'm just placing it. I drew a halfway mark. So I have a marking placement. You're going to do a denim when you're washing the fabric now. If it still bleeds after you wash it, you can do a vinegar rinse, and then it make sure you dilute it. Do a vinegar wash, and it can stop the bleeding. Sometimes denim likes to bleed. I don't know why, especially if it's like a dark. I don't know why denim likes to do that. All right. We're going to find our centers. I'm using chalk because you can dust it off. All right. Come on. All right, from here, we're going to draw on our next line at 1.5 inches from either side. 1.5 inches. I like denim. Good morning. I'm glad that you're here too. I know, being the East Coast, I feel like I miss out so much on the West Coast. All right. And from there, we did the from each side. From each side too. So from here, we're going to draw it too. 1.5. That makes life a whole lot easier. Gotta love it when a designer just makes your measurements super easy and you're not like, okay, what do I do next? Let's see. All right. So it looks like we're going to bend these like Beckham. Not the center mark, but the ones on each side. So they're oh yeah, it's the Willa. We're making the Willa from a Simply Classic. And all of her patterns, digital patterns, are on sale today and for a few days for 40% off, which is a steal for her. Her patterns usually typically run like $19 to $20. This is pretty cool. All right, so we're going to sew these, top stitch them at 1/8 of an inch. And this is her newer pattern, back stitch at the beginning and the end, that came in her subscription box for summer. All right. I am a sucker for these cargo style pockets. I'm always loving them because they just look so fancy. And I think you can just carry more in them. Up to 40% off. There you go. And I don't know. Her patterns are really chic. I'm always excited to see what her new patterns are. She does unusual shapes. I'm a fan of someone that does different shapes that and different, just different. Like I said, this one, we're working with a toggle, and she does mention that she does sell toggles, but in the pattern it does say if you don't have a toggle, you can use a button or other things. So I like that too. I like the chance to use something that you may have in your stash. All right. So we have both those done. And we are going to grab our lining pieces. All right. And we're going to find our centers. And we're going to measure. The measurement is on page 26. It says I'm just going to put a couple pins to make sure everything stays put. All right, and I'm going to sew down the center, and I'm going to do a bar tack. So I'm going to stitch off one stitch because this is vinyl. So I'm going to stitch one stitch off and go down. And then when I get to the woven, I'm going to go like a T. So I'm going to go down, then turn this way and go one stitch forward, back to the center, one stitch back, back to the center, and then reposition and go down. I'll make sure this is okay. And by just doing that simple little bar tack, I'm just ensuring that the pocket has longer longevity without having to rivet. All right. So we need to make sure that these pockets are 2 inches away from the side. So I'm just going to stick a pin in it. On each side. I'm using waterproof canvas, and cotton comes in the box. I just swapped out my cotton to a Lords of the Ring one. And this is some thick waterproof canvas. I switched that out too because I just wanted to use waterproof canvas. right, and then you want the pockets to go like this, and for them to lay flat. So I'm gonna I don't have painter's tape, but I'm gonna use this Scotch tape real quick to help things stay. Magnets can work too, like So Tight magnets. And I'm gonna, again, back stitch on and then back stitch off. I'm going to back stitch on each one of the pleats. And if the painter's tape comes off, it's fine. It happens. I'm going to back stitch over the pleats again. Painter's tape works so much better than Scotch tape. And then I'm just going to trim and remove my pins. And you can see where I did that tack right there. It's just so that way when people are going in and out of this pocket, it can take that reinforcement. And that looks so good. Let's do it again. I know I just found my centers. Like barely, apparently. All right. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. It's a good place. At least it wasn't top stitching. right. Two inches from the side. And then I'm going to tape this. All right. Let's start sewing. This is going to be super fun. Okay. We're getting to the exciting parts because we're going to start constructing the bag. I know I love cargo pockets because it's just, I don't know. I think I can just utilize them more than a zipper pocket, to be honest with you. You can just stick so much more stuff in them. All right. So we're going to be putting, I always forget to do this, the key fob. I'm notorious for like forgetting key fobs. I don't really use them. I know that they're like totally usable. They're just something that I don't personally use. I don't have like a whole bunch of stuff in my bag. So like I don't utilize them. I usually just have like my wallet, my sunglasses, and like sunscreen. So we're going to fold this over. I'm sorry. Nope. Fold this over and we're going to fold kind of like how we did the other one. We're going to fold it into a third. There we go. And we're going to top stitch this. At 1/8 of an inch on the top. On the side that we folded over that has like that little raw flap, just to make sure it stays down. Back stitch. And we're going to bring this over. We're going to put the swivel on, and we're going to fold over one short end, and we're going to rivet it in place. I just had my hole punched. Okay, I'm going to set this rivet real quick. All right. All right. So we're going to put our upper lining and our upper lining front and our upper lining back on to these top. And we're going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. And then we're just going to flip the seam allowance facing up. And we're going to top stitch on top at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. We're going to do, it doesn't matter which side you make the upper lining back or front because they have the same exact pockets. Uh-oh. We're going to make this work. I think I went slightly off on my lining. But we have a big seam allowance, so there's that. Yeah, I went definitely off. Good morning. About 3/8 of an inch. Okay. All right. right. Gonna clip the sides to the side. And the key fob needs to go in between, like where the fold is. So just above where the in between here, we can just place this key fob just a hair above here. So just at an angle on either side, it doesn't matter if you have a personal preference or not, just like at an angle poking out. Let's see. We have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to clip this into place right here. I'm going to back stitch over the key fob. Okay, and we're going to go on the other side and we're going to do the same. But there's no key fob. I mean, if you have like alternate keys, like let's say you have office keys or whatever, it wouldn't hurt to have, you know, 2 sets of key fobs. Or if you're a person that has like badges to get into your business, it wouldn't hurt. All right. All right, hold on. I'm trimming. Not good, apparently. That's what it looks so far on the inside. Like when you, do you see where, like where the key fob is? It's kind of coming in at an angle right above, because remember this part, the back slants over like this. Like, so you want your key fob to be down here so that way the key fob doesn't slant over. Like you want this area to be kind of clear. All right. We're missing just, we're almost done, guys. We're at the home stretch. If I don't cause harm to myself. All right. All right, guys. it's going to be a really pretty bag. We're going to figure out the centers of these, and then we're going to do our drop in, which I think is cool. I'm beginning to appreciate drop ins more and more lately because you don't have to birth, you don't have to bind. I don't know. I like every style bag though. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a time and place for like every style. Tomorrow I get to spend time with Aries, and I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna watch because I try to I try to watch things that I think that little babies won't recognize. It's so weird. My mom used to do this with Faith. She would like never watch anything like true crime or anything bad. So I'm like, what am I gonna watch? I decided I'm just gonna listen to um, my books on tape. So every year, I like one of my favorite book series is The Bear and the Nightingale, and I haven't listened to them on tape yet. I read them every year, so I think I'm going to listen to them on tape. It's from Catherine Arden. It's a phenomenal book series. I don't know how they haven't became like a TV. Well, I understand a TV series. The production would be outrageous, but like a movie. You love dropping linings because you have birth and bag. Birth and bags can be so hard. And then I'm one of those like, oh, I'm gonna make the birthing hole like 4 inches, and I'm sitting here like crying and like, why can't I birth this bag? Yes, you could just sew inside the lining. Like if you can become one with your machine, like your tension, then you don't have to worry about is my top thread the same as your bobbin, because you and your machine are just like one. Like I sometimes think my bobbin thread tension is better than my top. It's fun. Okay, so like at the retreat that I'm going to on Thursday, I have a production where I have to explain uh the Juki 2010s TL series and the Juki 2018 TL series. And I always have to remember to tell people that if they're not using the thread weight of Tex 35, because the machines are tuned to Tex 35, that if they have to change their tension, they have to actually put the presser foot down. That if they try to change the tension of the machine while the presser foot is up, that the tension will jump as soon as they try to like wind a bobbin or try to sew. And it's a very weird machine. And like somebody every year that has the machine is like, what? What do you mean? Because I had that machine for many years and I had no idea that it did that until one day I was on the phone with a Juki repairman, and I was talking to him about my tension issues, and he was like, "Hey, do you change when you change the tension? Do you do it with your foot up or down?" I was like, "My foot up," and he's like, "Yeah, that's your first problem." I was like, "What?" So it's like something that I now like keep with me. So we're gonna sew this with a 1/2 inch all the way around. I'm using, I can't find my stiletto, so I'm using a Phillips screwdriver and hemostats because that's how I roll. Whoever showed hemostats why they're sewing around curves, I don't know who that person was. It was like on a short on YouTube that I seen. They're genius. Oh, I gotta take these pins out for the love of. And this is why Shinova doesn't like using pins, but does like using pins. It was like on it was on my YouTube shorts. Usually I have on my YouTube shorts like food, like my YouTube short feed is usually food or like positive quotes, uplifting stuff. But somebody like snuck on my thing and they were showing like hemostats, what are they good for? And then they showed them like rounding a corner on something and they were using, I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. Oh yeah, I love using, if I'm using waterproof canvas, I use an array of different pens. That is my biggest secret with waterproof canvas, is use pens. Oh yeah, no. I always have pens also because zippers. I like Alexis showed me how to do the zippers with light fire, and yeah, it didn't work out so well. Like people who have that skill set that can just burn the zippers in place, I'm jealous of you, all of you. I can't do that. Whoever can learn, whoever can make spam calls go away, I will vote for you for president. I prom- I promise if someone's like, look, I'm running for president, and I promise you, I'll make all spam calls go away. I'll be like, you have my vote. I will rally for you. My daughter, she's my middle child. She's 16, and she was like, I'll vote whoever for president if they can stop spam calls too. One pin. Two. Let's trim this down for bulk's sake. Oh, I didn't know that. I have Samsung. That's in like some of them. There was an interesting one the other day that I have. It said it showed the number for our like our water and sewer. So I actually was on the phone with my sister and I called the water and sewer back. I was like, "Is there something going on in our area where we have to like have our water off for a while?" And they were like, "We didn't call you." And I was like, yes, you did. And then they were like, maybe we fumbled and we accidentally called you. And I was like, no. I was like, pretty sure I got this number calling me. And then they they were checking and they're like, we did not call you. And he was like, the supervisor was like, um, there's some scams going on where people are saying to like elderly people that their water is going to get cut off if they don't pay them. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That is like, that is the most horrible. Mm, there's a special place in Hades for people like that. I mean, because think about it, if someone's like 80 years old and they get a call from their water place and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna shut off your water, and you think maybe I did forget. That is that is just trifling. And they were like, are you sure they called from this using from this number? I was like, yeah. He's like, was there a message? And I was like, no. I was like, I just said, Howard County water and sewage, and I just automatically assumed that there was work getting done. And he was like, yeah, if you get a call from us, we usually give you an extension number or something. I was like, there was no message. Just going to reduce some of this bulk here. I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the outside, but not where we're going to be stitching, because man, we have a lot of double-sided tape. I'm going to give my needle a good cleanse and put some sewing machine oil on it, because double-sided tape has been our friend throughout this bag. All right. So that V is the top. You want to place the front in the front, and the back in the back. And you just want to make sure everything fits. Of course, my double-sided tape wants to lift. It's like, we had enough of you. I'm just trying to line up. the peak with the peak and go from there. Because there's a slight curve to this in the front, and you just want all of that to line up. Use as few or as many clips as you want. You could be an over clipper. I'm not here to judge. I'm here for the over clippers. I'm just adjusting and moving things. And I think we got it. Okay, so now for the fun part, we're gonna top stitch. All right, are you ready? Thank you. I'm definitely gonna look at those patterns, because I've really been looking for a bag that's like the Pan Am bags. I want to be like really sassy when someone calls me from like the suspicious number, but I haven't yet. I want to be, though. I really do. You could top stitch this from like the top because it's soft, but I'm going to go from the lining. You can pull your threads. I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to back stitch into a seam. Oh, I just dropped my tin full of clips. That's awesome. Take your time, breathe, take one clip at a time. My daughter, Hope, gets really creative with them. Like, she likes answering them sometimes. My son is the block team. Report block, report block. Faith says that she doesn't get them that much, so she doesn't know why we're complaining. So I'm like, do you have a magic phone? Is your phone from Narnia? What is going on? right. Let's see this magic. Oh, this is nice. Okay. The back of this, we have a nice zipper compartment. We have our connectors. It closes by toggle. Or if you have a button, you can do a button like that. An oversized button can work too. You open it up. You have your 2 cargo pockets and you have a roomy compartment. This is a really cool bag. This is very different, super unique. I love the closure. I like the fact that you can truly make it yours, because like you can have, you know, different closures. I like this a lot. He checks people. That's very smart. I can see you doing that. Backstitchers unite. Yeah, I believe in backstitching. And we have a great crossbody. I like this. This is cool. I like this. I can see this bag being like used a lot. Like, I even think you can make this as a backpack. Like if you put 2 connectors down here, this could be a really cool backpack. Like, I don't know, like that's just I think this could be a cute backpack. I really like this bag. It's super different. I know we've been on here for a while, but I don't think it takes that long, especially if you cut it all out. And I don't think it uses a lot of interfacing. And like I said, it's not hardware heavy. I'm all for that. I like this bag. It's a really cool bag. And I like the bottom of the bag a lot. I like how unique it is. I don't know. You can do some really cool fabrics. You can do embroidery patches. I can see this being a lot of different things. So yeah, that is it, my friends. We did a lot today, and I can't wait to show it off on Captain's Log tomorrow. So zip up the bag. If you guys want this pattern, there again, 40% off of digital patterns for Simply Classic, and that is rare. All her patterns are not always on sale. So definitely take a gander and look over there. And yeah, I hope this was fun for you. It was definitely fun for me. All right, I will see you guys real soon. Bye.